intentions of posting this on YouTube later. It's only recording me and my voice. And at some point I'll catch up and have them all ready to go. But for now, let's go ahead and start seated. You may have joined me for chair yoga, seated yoga this morning. And if that was the case, this will just be a nice warm addition. Otherwise, we want to warm up our bodies before we move them. So we're going to grab a bolster, a pillow, a throw blanket, something along those lines that we can sit our sits bones up on. And personally, I wish that I had like twice this blanket, because the higher that you sit, the more ease it brings to the whole of your posture. And that's what we want. So finding your seat. If we're sitting cross-legged or one leg in front of the other, it can help to create some space here for the belly by drawing the legs out one in front of the other. This posture seated here is called sukhasana, or easy pose. Sukh meaning easy or natural, right? Asana meaning pose. And in sukhasana, we're going to first connect with our bodies, connect with our breath, and touch into the micro movements that we can bring to our body with just the breath. So from wherever you're seated in your version of sukhasana, knowing that if there's any tension in the low back, or if this brings dis-ease to the low belly to your seat, grab another blanket, sit it up underneath your hips, right? Bring ease to your posture so that you can invite your mind's awareness down into your physical body. And then when you're ready, place your hands atop your thighs or knees. Let your gaze diffuse and go fuzzy, or let your eyes close if that feels nice. And then allow your awareness to travel down into the belly. See if you can't soften any tension, any clenching in the belly by sending your next breath down deep, filling the belly up, and then releasing the breath from your body. A few more times here, inhaling deep into the belly, feeling it expand and release any tension there. And then exhale, soften the belly. Let the shoulders soften towards the earth before once more inhaling into the belly. We're just hanging out here, these deep, slow belly breaths. Feeling ourselves arrive here in this moment on our mat or the floor, wherever we've picked. Releasing any effort in the jaw of your face. Let your tongue float and soften in the mouth. We're going to take this moment to find ease and gentleness in our physical body. Filling the belly with each breath, stretching, expanding, and then releasing the breath, softening. Beautiful. Starting each practice with these grounding exercises helps signal to our nervous system that it's safe to participate. This encourages the busyness of our mind to settle and slow so that we can more easily drop our mind's awareness into our physical body. And we're going to need that today as we move through these postures that will ask a lot from us. All right, from wherever you are, blink your eyes open. Let it be soft and slow. And then from here, we're going to find these micro movements in our seat. And these micro movements are meant to create length through the torso, and we're going to use them in almost every posture that we explore today. So finding first here in our sukhasana, our micro movement looks like this. You're going to feel your sits bones, those little protrusions on the bottom of your butt cheeks pressed down into that bolster or that blanket beneath you. You might give your hips a little wiggle just to really feel the sits bones nestled down in there, firmly held. And then you're going to imagine roots growing down from your sits bones into the earth, right? And these roots secure you to the earth, this immovable, strong foundation. But these roots are twofold. Not only do the roots secure you down deep, but they're also going to draw energy up from the earth. Pour it into the pelvis, fill up the length of the spine, and allow that energy to just pool and pour out the top of your head. So you might take a moment here to imagine that happening, these roots from your base, pulling up all of this energy from the earth, filling the torso, rising towards the top of the head. And then we're going to allow our breath to really bring in this movement. So on an inhale, draw that energy up from the earth. Let the breath and that energy create space between each vertebra as you press long through the top of the head. As you exhale, keep the length, but let the shoulders melt from the ears. Inhaling again, drawing that length, that energy up the length of the body, finding all of this space. Exhale, shoulders melt from the ears, keeping the neck long, still pressing gently to the top of the head. Take a few more breaths like this. This inhale, micro movement, creating length through the spine. Exhale, relax the shoulders. So now we're nice and tall. This really engages us through the front body, creating length through the neck everywhere we need it. Beautiful. From here, let's warm up the spine by starting some hip circles. So I'm going to keep my hands braced on my thighs here. I'm going to my neck in alignment with my spine, start drawing little circles with the top of my head. So in these little circles might be basketball sized or dinner plate sized. We're just warming up the spine and the hips. And then let the circles start to grow. Each circle a little larger than the last. Maybe the elbows start to bend. Maybe you're pressing down through the palms of the hands as you round forward. Maybe you're not. Knowing that there is no right or wrong way to experience these circles. But let them grow and grow as large as your body invites you to today. And we acknowledge in our yoga, in our movement practices, that each day the body needs something a little different. And our yoga is in acknowledging that need and meeting it. And maybe that means drawing circles a little slower. Or a little smaller. A few more times, nice and slow, feeling the weight of the torso shift round and round as you draw these circles. And then from wherever you are, roll to a stop and start drawing the opposite direction. Big, slow circles. And then if you'd like, as the chest rounds forward, let the head fall forward. We're going to let the head and the neck hang loose and join us in these big circles. As you round forward, the gaze falls forward. As you round back, the gaze rounds up towards the sky. Nice and slow. One more time, we'll switch directions, 3 big circles, allowing the neck to rotate. The weight of the head hangs heavy. One more circle. And then we'll meet with our heart center folded forward, the head still hanging heavy here in this Sukhasana fold. Feel the length along the back of the spine. Let the forehead weight down towards the earth. These vertebra in the back of the neck finding length between each of them, growing long. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to curl up vertebra by vertebra, nice and slow. Let it take a few breaths. You're like a flower blossoming in spring, pushing up from the dirt. You're in no rush to blossom, but once you get there, man, it feels good. All right. Let's warm up the shoulders by doing some shoulder circles, and we're really going to exaggerate them. So on an inhale, I'm pressing my shoulders forward and together, and you might exaggerate by bringing the palms together. It helps to rotate the shoulders forward. And then I'm going to rotate them up towards the ceiling. And then pull the shoulders back behind you. We're pressing the shoulder blades together, almost like you're trying to hold a pencil in between the shoulder blades. And then roll the shoulders down towards the earth while pressing through the top of the head here. Beautiful, nice and slow. Let's do it again. Roll the shoulders forward, pressing the shoulders together. Feel the shoulder blades at your back separate. Roll the shoulders up towards the ceiling. Beautiful, really pressing the shoulders up. How high can they go before rolling them back, pressing the shoulders together, pressing those shoulder blades together. Heart opens here. This is a beautiful opportunity to send your breath into your heart center. Feel the ribs and the heart expand and rise towards the ceiling, and then drop those shoulders down towards the earth. Really feel them weight down as you press tall through the head. Nice long neck, beautiful. Release any effort from the shoulders because we're going to spend a lot of time opening through the chest in cobra. We just want to give our shoulders and our heart center an opportunity to do it now. And then from here, let's meet in hands and knees on tabletop. And you can take your blanket here and place it underneath your knees. We really want to create ease for ourselves here. We don't want any sensations in our body to become distracting from where we are applying movement. So I like to place a blanket underneath my knees, palms beneath the shoulders. We're going to find a flat back, gaze down towards the earth. We're like a tabletop. It's called tabletop. We're a table here. The neck remains neutral as well. And then we're going to start to soften through the belly. Whatever tension you're holding in the belly, let it go. Let the belly drop down low. Release any effort in the low spine. As you do, wiggle the belly, wiggle the hips. Let it soften that belly a little further towards the earth. And then notice as your tailbone starts to tuck up towards the ceiling. Breathe deep into your belly here. My, how big, deep belly breaths we can take with our belly hanging low, our tailbone curled up towards the ceiling, this arch in the low back. And then on an inhale of your choice, their gaze rises up. Your heart center presses forward. And really here, we're going to press the chin up and forward along with the gaze so that the entire front line of the body is lengthening here, all through the throat, through the heart. The belly hangs low. We are stretching our front body out. When we spend time anxious, depressed, even just staring down at our phones, the TV, we close through the front line of the body. We grow small here. We start to hunch, which increases anxiety, increases depression. So here in cow posture, in Vittalasana, Vittal is cow, asana is pose. We crack open the front of the body. And then let's move to Marjaryasana, to cat, which is opposite this. So here we're going to press through our hands. We're going to start to drop the head down towards the earth. So here we are, the head hangs heavy, arms pressing down towards the earth. And then we're going to start to tuck our tailbone in towards the belly button. The low back lengthens here. And as you tuck that belly button in, notice, can you press a little further through the hands, growing long in the arms, feeling the shoulder blades separate as you do. And then one more time, check in with the head, let it hang heavy. Let it hang loose. Give it a little jiggle here. Marjaryasana. On an exhale, you might tuck that belly button up towards the spine and just feel what it does to the C shape, if anything. And then release to cow on an inhale. Belly starts to drop low, gaze rises, heart center comes forward, tailbone curls up towards the ceiling. Holding here for a few breaths, one more time. Once more, engaging that chin, pressing it upward towards the ceiling. All this length in the front of the body. And then your choice on an exhale, press back into cat, tucking the tailbone, dropping the head low, pressing through the arms. Let's move with the breath. Inhale to cow, heart center comes forward. Exhale to cat, heart center drops, head drops, tailbone tucks, back and forth. If there's one or two, I should say, yoga postures we practice on the daily, let it be these. All right, when you're ready, walk the hands back towards the body. We're going to come up onto our knees and we're going to get our hips ready. So stepping the left leg forward, right leg stays where it's at. We're going to come into Anjaneyasana asana. And Anjaneyasana asana is a celebratory posture in sun salutations where we open the heart center in a bit of a back bend. So from here, pressing down through the top of that right foot and the bottom of that left foot, this strong foundation here. Arms down by your sides. On an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms directly in front of us, thumbs up, up overhead. So as our arms press towards the ceiling here, I'm going to invite my heart center forward and gently press my thumbs towards the wall behind me. Really breathing into the front line of the body, just like in cow here, we're cracking open the front body. You might even press that chin upwards. Breathe into the belly. We'll take one more deep belly breath here. And then as you exhale, sweep your arms down. We're going to bring them down on either side of the leg. And then we're going to come up onto the heel of this front foot. So we'll lift the toes up off the mat, flexing the toes up towards the ceiling. Press your heart center forward. So this is half Hanumanasana. In complete Sanskrit, it's Ardha Hanumanasana. Hanuman is one of the Hindu deities. He looks like a monkey. And full Hanumanasana is the splits. So we're pressing our heart center forward as we flex our toes up, and you might really feel this engage all through the back of this leg. Beautiful. Rise back up, pressing down through the pad of that left foot. Let's switch sides. Bring this left knee in, step the right foot forward, and then feel your strong foundation, right? Your shoulders are in alignment with your hips. We're facing the front, pressing down into the front right foot, pressing down into the top of our back foot. Arms down by your sides. On an inhale, sweep them up, thumbs rising first. And as the arms reach skyward, we're pressing through the fingertips. You might let that heart center press forward, gaze rise, lift through the chin. Breathe into the belly here, Anjaneyasana. We greet the sun, we soak up all the goodness that it offers us today. Bring it on. We need some goodness. Life's full of chaos and suffering. We come to these places to find relief, to find ourselves, to reconnect. Let it pour into your heart center. And then on an exhale, sweep the arms slowly down. We're going to extend through this front right leg, lift the toes up off the mat, really pressing down into that heel. And then you might plant the hands on either side here, flex the toes up towards the ceiling as your heart center presses forward, half Hanumanasana or Ardha Hanumanasana. Ardha, A-R-D-H-A, in Sanskrit means half. Ardha Hanumanasana. All right, when you're ready, plant that whole front pad of that foot. We'll come back up. And we're going to sweep this right knee back behind us. Let's move into our classical sun salutations. So from wherever you are, we're going to go ahead and stand. You can ditch for now your blanket or your bolster that you were using, and instead grab some blocks. So for me, I've got these big, thick cork blocks. I love cork blocks because I'm a big girl. I got a lot of weight, and cork blocks are really firm. So they can be a great addition to your practice. If you don't have cork blocks, foam blocks are where my practice started, and there is nothing wrong with them at all. They'll be beautiful for this practice. And if you would like to use books or wooden blocks instead, feel free, but ensure that there is enough grip on them. So safety first. Everything that we do today, you can try without blocks. But whenever you're ready, we're going to grab our blocks. We're going to head to the front of our mat, and we're going to start standing. So placing the blocks down in front of you on either side of the mat, 6 or 8 inches in front of your toes. I'm going to adjust my camera so that you can see my upper body a little better. All right. Beautiful. We'll go from here. So standing at the top of your mat, we'll find our Tadasana. And Tadasana is mountain's pose. And just like Sukhasana in our seat, this is our standing foundational posture. Everything we do is birthed from this place of Tadasana. So to find Tadasana, we first find our Padabandha root lock. And your Padabandha root lock is in the pads of your feet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stand, and maybe your hips or your feet are about hip distance apart, which you would traditionally find in a yoga class. I step a little wider. So shoulders, maybe even a little wider than shoulder width apart from my Tadasana. Toes pointed in front of you. Feel the pads of your feet here press down into the earth. And then if you would like, lift your toes up off the mat. In yoga, we don't even need toes. We balance with the pads of our feet. And so as you lift the toes, feel the big toe mound press down into the earth. So right behind the big toe, we have this big toe mound in the pad of the foot. Feel it press down in either foot. And then as you press down through that big toe mound, press down also through the outsides of your heels. Feel this equal diagonal pressure here on the foot. And then keep that pressure as you now press down through the pinky toe mound and the inside of the heel. These 4 corners of the pads of each foot planted in the earth are Padabandha root lock. You might even imagine once more those roots growing down as you soften the toes, let them float down onto the mat, almost like an afterthought here. From the roots growing through the pads of our feet, on an inhale, you're going to draw that energy up from the roots, up the legs, through the length of the torso, out the top of the head, finding all this length in the body. As you exhale, sink the shoulders away from the ears, palms face forward. So here is our mountain pose. Bringing ease to the jaw, to the tongue. Can you breathe deep into the belly, deep into the body here? Beautiful. From here, we'll start our practice. So for Surya Namaskar C, Surya means sun, Namaskar means salutation. So sun salutation C, also known as classical Surya Namaskar. We start in our standing posture and we move with our breath. So on an inhale, we expand and rise, right? We're going to press through the arms, lifting them towards the sky, And we'll pause here, right? We're extending through the fingertips, gaze rises. This is Urdhva Hastasana. Reaching up, and you can traditionally even turn this into a back bend by sinking the thumbs towards the wall behind you, pressing the pelvis forward, engaging through the whole front of the body. You might even squeeze those glutes here to help out. Breathing into the belly. Beautiful. On an exhale, bring the palms together down towards the heart center. Let's come into Samastiti. Samastiti is just a traditional even pose, planting the palms at the heart center in Anjali Mudra. So let's do this again. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up into Urdhva Hastasana, gaze follows. Exhale, palms come together towards the heart center, Samastiti. Inhale again, out and up, we reach with those arms. Exhale, palms come together in Samastiti. Beautiful. This time, let's go from Urdhva Hastasana into a fold. So from Samastiti, on an inhale, sweep those arms out and up, gaze follows, pressing up through those fingertips. Now, as you exhale, sweep the arms down by your sides, hinge at your hips, heart center drops forward into a forward fold. This is a great time to come down onto blocks at whatever height brings you joy. Maybe you let the arms hang down. Wherever you are, loosen through the neck. Just like in cat pose, can you let go of any tension in the head? Let it float here, let it bop around. Pressing strong to the pads of the feet. This forward fold is called Uttanasana. Uttanasana. From here, on an inhale, we're going to lift to flat back. So if your hands are on blocks, you'll extend the length of your arms and then gaze comes forward. If you're not using blocks, you'll place your palms on your shins and use that equal and opposite pressure, extending through the arms to once again find this flat back. This is Ardha Uttanasana. So our fold is Uttanasana. Our half lift or our half fold, as you might think of it, is Ardha Uttanasana. Beautiful. Really think about the length in the spine here, pressing down through the pads of the feet. We're building heat in the body. And then on an exhale, come back down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Once more, let the head hang heavy here, shake it loose. We're going to take a generous bend in the knees. And as you do, feel that weight, the pressure in the pads of your feet increase. Feel your strength in the pads of your feet. And then on an inhale, sweep your arms out, still pressing through the feet, rise back up into Urdhva Hastasana, arms all the way up, gaze up. Exhale, palms come together towards the heart center in Samastiti. So this is our first half of a sun salutation. Trust me, we're building, all right? So let's start once more in our Tadasana. And you can start in Tadasana or you can start in Samastiti. There are no rules. You pick. From wherever you are starting, that strong foundation in the pads of the feet, find it once more, that Padabandha root lock. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Gaze follows, Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, swing the arms out by your side, forward fold, Uttanasana, hands on blocks, maybe hands hang loose, wherever you are, forward hang, forehead hangs heavy. Breathe here for a moment in Uttanasana. On your next inhale, lift up into flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Pressing through the head as you exhale, slowly lower back down into the fold. Bend in the knees generously as you inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Pressing through those feet, we're rising into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti, palms towards the heart center. Beautiful. One more time, and then we'll incorporate our Anjaneyasana into this. So finding your Tadasana or your Samastiti, feeling that equal pressure in the pads of the feet, Padabandha root lock. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up, gaze rises. Exhale, sweep the arms down by your sides, hinge at the hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to that half lift, the Ardha Uttanasana, finding that flat back. Exhale back down into Uttanasana. And this forward fold, and I should have spoken about it. So we've taken some extra space here, just naturally, from our starting point in Tadasana, which creates more space for our belly. But when we forward fold, we don't want our breath to be constricted. So I often will bend my knees out towards the side after I've folded, tuck my belly in between my thighs, and then extend once more through the legs, creating a lot of space, like a pocket here for my belly to be held, making more room for my breath. And then from here, on an exhale of your choice, you're going to plant your hands on the floor or on the blocks. You're going to step your right leg back, plant that knee down. And then as you inhale, sweep the arms up into Anjaneyasana, right? We've been here before. We know this shape. Breathing here, holding the gaze up, pressing actively through those fingertips. We invite the heart center forward, cracking open the front line of our body, relieving anxiety, decreasing depression, building strength and flexibility. Beautiful. On an exhale, drop the arms down by our sides. You're going to step the left foot back, coming onto both knees. And then here's where it gets tricky. So from Anjaneyasana, two things can happen. We can first move into knees, chest, chin, which is called Ashtanga Pranam. And from your knees, it sounds just like this, planting your hands beneath your shoulders. You bend your elbows inward towards the body, right? So not out like a push-up, but inward towards the body, bending the elbows. We drop the chest down first, and then the chin. So knees, chest, chin. Gaze comes forward. You're like a little puppy dog. This is incredibly challenging. Beautiful. From wherever you are, push yourself right back up into this tabletop position. And then let's try a second option. So knees, chest, chin, Ashtanga Pranam is honestly harder than a lot of other postures we could be doing or a lot of other movements we could be doing. So if we're looking for actual relief here, you might just try a modified push-up. So extending through the hips, keeping the length of the knees and lower legs down, we start to just simply bend at the elbows, lowering the heart center down towards the earth. Beautiful. From here, I'm going to scoot back a little bit. From here, we find our cobra. So palms beneath the shoulders, just check in one more time, elbows tucked by your sides, keeping them there. We're going to move into our shoulder rolls from earlier. So when you're ready, press the shoulders forward. Yep, it's weird to do it here. Roll them up towards your ears, back, squeezing those shoulder blades together, and then down, and then keep the shoulders here. So we've naturally opened through the chest. Your gaze is naturally forward. This sets us up well for Cobra, also known as Bhujangasana. So when you're ready, we're going to start to lift through the heart center. Gaze rises. I'm pressing my pelvis down into the earth as I gently press up into my hands. And you might rise a little bit. You might rise until the length of your arms are straightened, but this is quite hard on the low back. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. This is actually more difficult than this, but this is our Bhujangasana, our cobra. So the heart center comes forward, gaze is up. And then on an exhale of your choice, bend through the elbows, keep them pinned by your sides, lower down slowly. Beautiful. Press back into your tabletop. Let's start at the beginning. So from tabletop, we're going to step up into a forward fold. Woohoo! Let it be messy. Let the feet be wide. Hang out here in Uttanasana. And then when you're ready, bend strong through the pads of the feet. Sweep the arms out and up into Urdhva Hastasana. Let your gaze follow.
Exhale, palms to the heart center, samastiti. All right. So we're moving through back to the beginning of our classical sun salutation. And in about 20 minutes, we'll have learned the whole thing, I promise. All right, finding your strong foundational standing point. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Make space for the belly. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale back down into that fold. And once you're folded, step that right leg back, bend through that right knee, right? We've been here. As you inhale, sweep your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Asana. Hang out here for a few breaths. And then we're about to surrender into knees, chest, chin, or our modified push-up. So take a deep breath into your belly when you're ready. As you exhale, sweep the arms down, plant them on your mat, step that left leg back, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, you choose, keeping the elbows tucked at the side body. As you inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, and then rise into your cobra, your Bhujanga Asana. Hang out here, pressing down through the pelvis, feeling the heart pull forward, gaze rises up. Beautiful. And then from here, two things happen. Traditionally, we press back into downward facing dog by curling the toes, coming up off the knees, and then I walk my feet forward until I feel my strong foundation in downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, my hips are pressing back towards my heels. Your knees have a slight bend here. We're pressing through the palms, and downward facing dog is incredibly challenging. So if you're here, go ahead and come down onto your knees for a moment. I want to show you some things that you can be doing to bring some ease to your downward facing dog, or to substitute it out entirely. So downward facing dog. The hardest part really is the transition. And so you're from Cobra, go ahead and meet me back on your belly, palms beneath the shoulders. There isn't a really good way to press up into Cobra. And so what I do is I curl my toes as I get ready. I'm going to press through my palms, come up onto my knees, and I sort of sit back almost into a child's pose. And then from here, I use the strength in my legs to press in through my toes and lift my legs up as I really press through the heels of my hands. And then I'm walking my feet forward until I feel secure and strong. And you might enjoy this sort of downward facing dog. You might want to grab blocks. So grabbing blocks and placing them beneath the wrists like this helps relieve some of the pressure in the arms, the shoulders, and the wrists, and shifts our weight back towards our heels. So you might take a moment to feel what that feels like. And then we're going to come into Anjaneyasana again by stepping our right leg up to meet our hands, or in the direction of our hands. And there are a few ways to do this. From wherever you are, go ahead and just bend your right knee up into your body and step it forward, wherever it lands, right? Notice the gait. Know that this is good enough. This distance, beautiful. Slowly lower that back left knee down. As you rise up, reposition this front left foot into your full Anjaneyasana. Beautiful. And then on an inhale, sweep the arms up. Hold for a moment, pressing the heart center forward, the thumbs gently back, inviting the sun in one more time. On your next inhale, breathe deep into the heart and the belly. As you exhale, sweep the hands down. We're going to plant them on the floor or on blocks. We're going to press strong through the pad of this right foot and step forward into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Forward fold, make space for the belly, bend the knees, let the belly fall in or tuck in there, and then straighten them back out as much as feels good in your body. Here we are, Uttanasana. On an inhale, find your half lift, your Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, surrender back down into your fold. And then on an inhale, press to the pads of the feet, bend the knees, sweep the arms out and up. We're rising to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms come together, Samastiti. Whew, that is one full revolution of a sun salutation. Wild, right? So for sun salutations, it's important to know that we move with the breath, and you might not move with each inhale and exhale. These things come with time and familiarity in the practice, just like learning how to cook, right? Can't throw away the cookbook just yet. We're still learning, takes time. But know that each time we are expanding through the front of the body, we are inhaling, we're bringing the breath in, we're using the breath to assist us in our length and expansion. And each time that we exhale, our body is doing some sort of surrender. Our front body is shrinking in some capacity. So as you move through this sun salutation, each time you expand, it's calling for a breath in. Each time you surrender, it's calling for that exhale. All right, we've had a break. Let's move back into our classical sun salutation. We'll spend a little bit of more time playing with downward facing dog, and here moving into like a substitution, because listen, there are a lot of times that our wrists or our shoulders are not here for the downward facing dog and we need some other options. So here's how you can move through a sun salutation without skipping a beat. Find your Tadasana or your Samastiti wherever you are starting. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up, right? We're rising, expanding to the front body. Exhale, forward fold, sweeping those arms out wide. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, this time step the left leg back instead of the right. Let that left knee come down. And as you inhale, sweep the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Let's pause here for a moment, breathing into the heart center, inviting that good sunshine in. And then as you exhale, we're going to plant the hands. We're going to step back into knees, chest, chin, or that half push-up. Woo, excuse me. So here's my knees, my chest, my chin, and then from wherever you are, you're just going to lower your whole body on down towards the earth. Plant the hands beneath the shoulders. As you inhale, lift up into cobra, tucking those shoulder blades towards one another, opening through the heart center. As you exhale, option to press back into downward facing dog or just to come back into tabletop here. Beautiful. And then from tabletop, curling the toes, we're going to step our left leg forward now. So step the left leg forward. We're going to come up into Anjaneyasana and hang out here. Beautiful. So instead of downward facing dog, we just pressed back into tabletop, didn't miss a beat. On an exhale, sweep the arms down. We're going to step up into the forward fold. So pressing strong through this front left foot, curling the toes of that back foot, step forward into this fold, make space for the belly. On an inhale of your choice, half lift. Exhale, fold back down into Uttanasana. Inhale, bend to the knees, plant to the feet, sweep the arms out wide, rise up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms together. Samastiti. Beautiful. Let's do this one more time on either side of the body. And I'm going to let you choose. Would you like to play and explore in downward facing dog? And I'll continue to offer some variations for down dog. Or would you like to press back into tabletop? You get to decide. Maybe you try one on one side and one on the other. So from wherever you are, starting our classical sun salutations, either in Tadasana or Samastiti. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up, gaze rises. Exhale, pressing through those fingertips, we fold, hinging at the hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, pressing long through the head. As you exhale, step that right leg back, plant the knee. As you inhale, sweep your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, plant the hands. We're going to come down into knees, chest, chin, or a half push-up. On an inhale, cobra or bhujangasana. Exhale, tabletop or curl the toes into downward facing dog. If you're using your blocks in downward facing dog, you might try them on a higher setting and just notice how that puts even more weight back into the legs, relieving pressure from the arms. And because we stepped our right leg back to start, we'll step our right leg forward to end. So when you are ready from tabletop or downward facing dog, we're going to step the right leg forward. We're going to lower that left knee down, adjust this front right knee as needed, or the front right foot as needed. On an inhale, sweep the arms back up into Anjali Asana. As you exhale, sweep the arms down, step forward into your forward fold. Make space for your beautiful belly. Inhale, rise to flat back. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, back down into the fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up, press through the feet, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms together towards the heart center, Samastiti. Beautiful. Other side of the body now. When you are ready, inhale, sweep the arms out and up, gaze follows. Exhale, big fold. Inhale, rise to flat back. Exhale, because we led with our right foot at our last sun salutation. We're going to step the left knee back. Inhale, rise up into Anjali Asana. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or half push up. Inhale, uncurl the toes, plant the tops of the feet, rise into cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, press back into tabletop or downward facing dog. And this is where you grab your blocks and transition. It's not the smoothest, most comfortable way to do this, but it works. And then if you would like, if you're in this downward facing dog, you can bring ease to your forward step by pressing hard through this right foot, lifting the left foot up towards the sky. And then as you bend that left knee, step out. So we're stepping out towards the side, sweeping our left foot forward and then coming down onto the knee. On your inhale, sweep up into Anjali Asana. As you exhale, plant those hands on the floor or on blocks, curl that back toe, step forward into this wide-legged forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, crossing through the pads of those feet, Urdhva Hastasana. Samastiti. Beautiful. No joke, right? This is quite a bit of work for the body. So that is your classical sun salutation. Let's do it one more time on the right side of the body. And this time I'm going to move back into tabletop so that if that downward dog doesn't feel good in your body, we can build some familiarity with something that does. So from here, find your Tadasana or your Samastiti. Feel those roots planted down through the Padabandha root lock. You are strong, immovable, like the biggest, oldest tree, older than any human being on earth. Ancient and powerful. On an inhale, draw all of that energy up from your roots to the top of your head, rising up into Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, we're going to step the right leg back, plant the right knee. Inhale, Anjali Asana, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, knees, chest, chin, or half push-up, belly plants on the mat. As you inhale, press into Bhujangasana or Cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, press back into downward dog or tabletop. And then from here, we're going to step the right leg forward. So I'm going to lift my right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise up into Anjaneyasana Asana. Exhale, plant my hands, step up into this half fold or into this forward fold. Inhale, half fold. Exhale, back down into the fold. Inhale, bend to the knees, press to the feet, sweep the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. From here, let's try out Malasana. I'm going to face you. Malasana is a yogic squat. It's going to really loosen through the hips. I'm going to grab blocks for this. It can feel good to also do this with a chair up underneath you, but we're going to keep our feet about mat distance apart, right? 2.5 feet in between them. And I'm going to stack these blocks up underneath my seat. And you might have super flexible hips and already know that you want to get deep into Malasana without any props. But I would recommend setting up a seat for yourself and exploring it. So our yogic squat, Malasana or garland pose, we're going to bend through the knees. We're going to send our butt back. We're going to squat down. It can help to press the fingers or the hands out in front of us as we come down. And you're going to sit on your blocks here. And it can feel nice to tuck the heels in and the toes out just a little more. And you might be sitting on your block just like this. You might be thinking, I'd like a little more. Sweet. Remove one of the blocks. Lower down just a little further. Bring your arms, if you like, to the insides of your thighs. And then if you bring your hands here in Anjali Mudra, it can help to hold the thighs open like a little anchor. Maybe you're hanging out here, breathing into the body. Maybe you want a little more of a challenge, so you remove the block entirely. But we take it at our own pace. Sitting the hips down towards the earth, feeling the sensation that arises. We don't want to explore pain. That's why we're using these beautiful props to meet ourselves exactly where we are, knowing that that place is worthy, is incredible, that there is so much waiting for us exactly where we are. Breathing into the belly. And then whether you're up on these blocks or not, let's turn this into a twist. So I'm going to take my left arm down. I'm going to take it palm open, so palm in front of me. And I'm using the back of my left arm to press this knee open, right? My left knee, my left inner thigh open. I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to swing it up the opposite direction. So I'm drawing this a diagonal with my arms here. My gaze maybe rises up towards that outreached arm. Beautiful. On an exhale, let's lower that right arm. Let's switch sides. Back of that right arm meets the inside of that back thigh. And then when you're ready, left arm swings up in the opposite direction. Maybe the gaze follows. It can feel nice to press the back of that right arm nice and strong into the inside of the thigh and let it help you turn with your rib cage, right? You can see as I press into this that my rib cage wants to also turn. Yes. So any twists that we're making, we want to do it with the rib cage. Not so much with the shoulders and the neck. We already know those are pretty mobile. All right, let's release this hand down. Let's come forward onto our hands, back onto our knees. Ooh, shake it out. Shake out the hips. Give yourself a moment. That was a lot. That's a lot, a lot, a lot. All right, we don't have a ton of time left, but we have done a ton of work.
And there's this really famous yoga teacher, and he taught me that in yoga, so often the reward is when we're done. And sometimes that's just how it is. So let's reward ourselves with some sweet, sweet dopamine. Let's find ourselves on our backs, knees bent. Let's plant the length of our spine along the earth. All right. Taking your time to get there. We're not in a rush. Nothing we're doing today we are in a rush for. Plant the pads of those feet. And as you lie down, feel the length of your spine nestled into the earth, fully supported. You can give in and release here. And then since we haven't done much twisting today, let's go ahead and do that. So you might leave the feet on the ground, or you might tuck them up towards the chest. So you decide. You can find this twist beautifully from either position. But let's bring the knees together. And then from wherever you are, let your knees fall towards the right. And then breathe deep into the belly, softening through the belly and the low back. Let each shoulder blade melt down into the earth here. It can even feel good to tee the arms out wide, palms up. And just breathe and melt. Ask yourself, where can you soften? Maybe down in the hips and the thighs, knowing that if your feet slide or the knees slide away from you, let them. Give way entirely and let it be just a little messy. If you like, we'll bring the neck into this by lifting the head up off the mat, turning your gaze opposite direction of your knees, and then resting the head back down. Now you're going to want to focus on releasing and relaxing through the neck and the jaw, letting the tongue relax and hang out here. Melting through the whole of the body. And then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, lift your head up off the mat, turn your gaze back up to the ceiling, and then release the knees. Let them roll back up towards the ceiling. Let that left hip make contact with the earth, and then let's just swing the knees back and forth. And maybe you have your knees in towards your chest, and it looks like this. Wherever you are, let the knees sway. Let the pelvis and the hips hang loose here. We're teaching ourselves to let go. One of the hardest lessons in life, I feel. Releasing and letting go. And it's here in our practice, in the safe space we create for ourselves, that we learn, that we participate, that we take steps towards the letting go, so that we can find what it means after we roll up our mat and head out into the world. All right, let your knees find stillness, either up in towards the chest or feet planted on the mat. And then we're going to let our knees fall towards the opposite direction, finding this twist on the other side of the body here. Breathe deep into the belly. And then as you exhale, ask yourself, where can you let go and release a little? Can you melt in between your thighs? What about each butt cheek? On your next inhale, can you fill the low belly? As you exhale, can you soften through the low back? Let the shoulder blades melt towards the earth. And if you'd like to bring your neck into this, now is the time to gently lift the head, turn your gaze opposite the knees, and then rest it right back down. Where can you release tension in the neck and the shoulders? Is there anywhere in your body where effort has snuck up? And can you melt? Can you let it go? Be imperfect. Be a little messy. As it turns out, all of life's greatest things aren't anywhere near perfection. And then when you're ready, lift the head, turn the gaze back up towards the ceiling. Let the knees follow suit. And then from here, we'll find our final Shavasana. It's already 11, so we'll make it short, which I hate, but here's what we have. Extending through the legs and through the arms. Our final Shavasana is called corpse pose. And the truth is, and you'll hear many teachers talk about this, the culmination of the entirety of our practice today has led us to this posture. We've moved the body, we've invited the mind down into our physical sensations, therefore keeping it present in real time. And now we're no longer moving the physical body. We're finding stillness and effortlessness here. You might, for a moment, acknowledge every portion of your body pressing down against the earth and see if you can't soften it just a little bit. And as you lay here, letting go, searching for this place of physical stillness and effortlessness, this is where we invite the mind to follow suit. As the body finds stillness, can also the mind. One of the best tools to center and still the mind is inviting its awareness into your breath. The last bits of changing sensation in your physical body here in corpse pose. And as you lie here, let your mind notice the details of each breath in, what expands and stretches. How does the coolness of the air travel into the lungs? Can you feel its pathway? As you exhale, what softens and relaxes down towards the earth? Can you notice this once cool air transformed by the body into the warmth of your breath? You can remain like this for as long as you please, knowing that part of the fun of our yoga practice is learning to extend the Shavasana longer and longer. But in order to keep some semblance of time for now, start to awaken your physical body by deepening your breath. Let it be full and exaggerated, and then exhale, let it all go, every drop of air from the lungs and the belly. Or once more, filling the body entirely full of your breath. And as you find this exaggerated movement in the breath, begin to gently move the fingers and the toes. And it's important during this time that we take it slow, that we feel the sensations of our fingers as they stretch and flex, maybe as they rub against one another. It's important that we feel the sensation in our toes as we expand them, pressing them wide, and then flex them, curling them, and release. Invite this movement up into the ankles and the wrists. You might take a bend in the knees here, bring some relief to that low back as you draw this movement up into the arms. Maybe you stretch the arms overhead, pressing, and then relaxing. There's no wrong way to explore the sensations of your awakening. And then when you're ready, if you found this bend in the knees, you might roll over onto your left or right side body in this field posture, supporting the head with the upper arms for just a moment, feeling the weight of the body. Relax one last time. Let it all go. And in your own time, press yourself up into an easy seated posture. And maybe that is Sukhasana with legs crossed or one in front of the other. Maybe you take a bound angle, a Baddha Konasana, but make it easy. Make it kind to the belly and the low back. And then from wherever you are, you might bring your palms together towards the heart center in Anjali Mudra. As you inhale, I like to feel my heart rise to meet my thumbs. And as you exhale, an option to take a gentle bow in the head. We take a quick moment to pour gratitude out upon yourself. Thank yourself for showing up, for new challenges, for holding space, for your practice, whether it was miserable or amazing, knowing that both have equal worth in this space. Thank you for practicing with me today. The light and the dark in me see the light and the dark in you, and we are the same. Take care.